I spoke yesterday on the fact that there are going to be better ways of playing MANNADIUM, and this is definitely one of them. If you're in the Discord, you will have seen this deck already. If you watched our last live stream, you will have seen this deck already. But this is MANNADIUM featuring Elemental Hero Prisma. Now, this is a hell of a fucking strategy. I saw this online and I had to fucking try it. It was so cool. A hero lives and Elemental Hero Prisma. That is the primary changes. We remove the Kashtira cards, we remove the Fenrir's, the Scarclaw Kashtira, we remove the Rafislav. Didn't like them. Again, talked about that in my previous video, and I'm going to talk more about that at the end of this video and why I think this version is better. First of all, I do have some gains lined up, showing off some combos, showing off some sort of unique interactions. So what does the actual tech do though? So a hero lives, of course, just has your life points to summon out Prisma from deck. It's a free special summon, which means that this doesn't eat your normal summon, which is actually really big. Doesn't eat your normal summon, that is huge. Because this deck sometimes can feel a little bit rough if it doesn't have its normal summon. Sometimes, but it can do. Whereas this helps fix that problem because you summon an Elemental Hero Prisma. Now, why does Prisma matter? What does it actually do in the deck? Well, what it does is you can reveal a fusion monster in your extra deck to send a fusion monster, fusion material listed on it directly to grave, and this card takes its name. So what you're going to do is you're going to reveal your Vicious Astrolabe, sending a Visa Starfrost to grave, and now you control Visa Starfrost. And what can Visa Starfrost do? It can go into Lightheart. Lightheart searches your primitive planet. Primitive planet searches your Reichheart. Reichheart special summons. Reichheart grabs your rival. Suddenly, you have two monsters on board, including a Reichheart and a rival in hand. Visa Starfrost in grave, which can be revived off of the arrival that you just searched for, and you haven't touched your normal summon. You haven't touched any of your MANNADIUM cards. So it just opens up a shitload of doors for the deck. It really, really does. It's not even bad if you open this card up. If you just like hard draw it and normal summon it, that's not the worst thing in the world either. I'm just hugely in love with this strategy. I think that this is so far my favorite way of playing it. I think it might be the best way of playing it. Now, the one change that I didn't have in the video actually that I meant to put in, I was taking out Prime Heart, we're putting in Sprite Elf. I forgot the gameplay that you're going to see is from the Duelist Cup. In the Duelist Cup I had the Sprite Elf in it, but this version doesn't. But yeah, it's the same thing. The only change was the Sprite Elf, basically. And you'll actually see in one of the games where we end our board expecting to go into Sprite Elf and we don't have it. But anyways, I'm not going to take out too much time here. We have a few replays lined up discussing the deck. I'm going to go at the deck at the end of the video as well. It'll not be a full deck profile, but I am going to talk about the tech cards and the Kashtira cards and where I think the deck is going, what I think the issues are. So stick around for that if you're interested in that discussion. First and foremost, though, we have some gameplay. So if you're new to the channel, subscribe to catch new videos every single day. Never missing a day and uploading, so if you want to catch that, absolutely join in by subscribing. Like the video if you enjoy watching. Let's just dive in. Alrighty, getting into our first game here. Of course, having a hero lives in hand. I'm going to start with our Primeval Planet though, see if we can beat an Ash Blossom. Didn't seem like I had one, so we're going to go for a hero lives. Off the rip, summoning out the Prisma. Prisma then sending our remaining Visa Starfrost to the graveyard, becoming Visa Starfrost. We can special summon out Meek because we control him too, which is pretty fucking cool. We're now going to use Lightheart to search our deck for the Primitive Planet. We're going to use the Primitive Planet, grabbing ourselves a Reichheart here. We're going to special the Reichheart under the Lightheart, searching for our rival. Now, we could have potentially done this slightly differently, and this is what I mean. This deck takes a lot of practice because there's still little bits here and there that I, not misplays, but optimizations, right? What I could have done is instead of doing this, I could have played this in defense. I could have summoned the Visa Starfrost. I have 3 monsters in defense before going in the Reichheart to draw an extra card. There's lots of little bits here and there that you could do forever. You're forever learning better to make the deck perform even better. So we're going to pop the Lightheart, summoning out Visa Starfrost. Lightheart coming out. We're going to use the Obsidian now, popping the Meek to grab ourselves Calarium. We're going to use now the Meek's effect to summon out another Meek from deck, activating Calarium. Calarium then going to search our deck for the Heart. I don't know if you noticed, but we've yet to fucking normal summon here. Let me check our normal summons. Still haven't normal summoned. So now we're going to normal summon the Heart. We could have special summoned it off of Obsidian, and we're going to grab Imagining. Imagining then going to shuffle back the Meek that we have in hand, drawing 2, which is great because Meek being in deck is way more valuable. Into the Tri-Edge Master. Tri-Edge Master, draw 1, drawing Max C, which is fucking huge. We're going to banish 2 from grave, going into Vicious Astrolabe under the Cross Sheep, summoning back a monster from the graveyard, bringing back Meek the Quick Play Synchro Summon into the Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon, bringing back another level 2 tuner, going into our Bestial Dispatter right here. Bestial Dispatter, bringing back a level 4 Dark Monster, so we can finally go into a full power Chaos Angel. Now, right here is where I would have went into Sprite Elf, but I realized that I didn't have it in this particular build. I had the Prime Heart instead, or no, I had something else instead, I can't remember. But I didn't have it. But Sprite Elf would have made this a little bit better. Not by much, a little bit. They're going to go Rhoda off the rep. Rhoda grabbing themselves a Razin against the tier 1 top deck in the game. Razin then activating its effect. We're going to chain Maxi to that to see if he has anything to say to Maxi. He does not. Maxi then resolving against the Razin. Razin searching his deck for the Dr. Madlove. The only thing that threatens this board, and an important thing that we do, that you should do when you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In general, is don't just negate a good card. Don't just like negate what you think is a good card for no reason, right? It doesn't matter. He could summon out Caesar. He could summon out Borger. He could do all of this wild shit. None of it matters. The only cards that stop us are Dust Devil and Snow Devil. That's it. So why would we waste our negates on things that can't beat us? So we're saving it for those cards. We're playing it smart. They go for Dust Devil. Now is the time for the Baron de Fleur. Now we can get rid of it. So that was perfectly timed there. Negating the Dust Devil, he does not flip anything face down, meaning we retain our protection. Razin doesn't destroy shit because we're protected thanks to the Chaos Angel. Gonna go now into the Rock of the Vanquisher. He decides he's just gonna have to fucking play the game. Gonna start giving us cards here. We're gonna go call by on his only graveyard target. He declares add from grave. We get rid of his only target in the grave, the Razin. That's going to be negated not only for this turn, but for next turn as well if he has another one in hand. Pot of Desires off the rip. Really ballsy play. Drawing 2. Playing Stake Your Soul. Revealing Dr. Madlove in hand. Going to special summon out the Borger from the deck. Going to use the Borger. Going to use the Draw 1 effect to try and just hopefully draw into some sort of miracle. And whatever card he was digging for, he unfortunately wasn't able to find it. Really, admirable attempt from our opponent there. I will be 100% honest, they really tried that game. They were at unimaginably bad odds, but they still gave it everything. So hats off. Really well played. And let's just get in the game too. Alright, getting into game 2 then. Going first again, we're going to start off with the Primitive Planet. No need to search for it this time, but it is going to get ashed. That's one of the most detrimental ashes against MANNADIUM that I've experienced so far. Ash Blossom on the Primitive Planet is huge. We're going to replace that Primitive Planet with Calarium now. We're going to use it to grab our Rheum Heart, normal summon the Rheum Heart, grabbing ourselves Meek from deck. We're going to summon the Meek, then pop the Meek off of Visa Starfrost, and from here, it's just Goodnight Irene. We're simply going to combo off like fucking crazy. We're going to bring back the Meek from the graveyard off of our Calarium. Meek then summoning another Meek from the deck, boosting it up to level 4. Synchro summon in the Baron de Fleur to protect ourselves from a potential Nibiru. Nibiru has been everywhere. So now we're safe from Nib or anything else that he wants to do. He's got 4 cards left in hand. Going into the Lightheart. Lightheart searching our deck for our other Primitive Planet, just whittling down our cards. Going into Cross Sheep now. Cross Sheep then, we're going to banish 2 to summon off of our Astrolabe. Astrolabe then going to search our deck. Resummon from the graveyard, I should say. Going to pop the Meek, and we're going to resummon a card back from the grave as well. Resummoning a Meek from the grave. Then we're going to pop the Meek on the field to summon another one from the deck, boosting up to level 4, linking 3 off into Apollosa, and passing turns. We have we have 2 Omni Negates, and we have 3 Monster Negates. He has 5 cards in hand, so that should total up to the same thing. They're going to go MANNADIUM, Rheum Heart, and this is exactly what I mean here. We activate this in response, remove his monster off the board, and now he doesn't have a heart, he doesn't have MANNADIUM, he doesn't have anything. He's actually playing some sort of Sprite version, which I think is going to be very, very interesting. I actually really like that idea, even just as a basis. Unfortunately, this was Duelist Cup, so I couldn't see his deck, but even just as a Sprite deck, normal summon MANNADIUM, grab Meek, summon Meek, and now you've got a level 2 on board for all your Sprite plays. That's an idea. It's pretty fucking cool, I like it. But either ways, unfortunately, wasn't able to make it happen, and that's what I'm talking about when it comes to the vulnerability of a lot of other decks, other MANNADIUM decks, because if, like, your MANNADIUM monsters, your babies, have to be summoned when you control a MANNADIUM. Visa Starfrost has to target a monster on your field to destroy it. Your Rheum Heart has to target a monster in the field to destroy it. Your right card can be special summoned next to a Scarclaw. So if you don't have a monster on board, it becomes very difficult for the deck to function. Even things like Abscission. Abscission needs to target a monster to destroy it. So if you can, like, stop them from having a monster on board and nip it in the bud real fucking quick, then this deck really struggles to get off the ground, and they really struggle to put a lot of their plays together. That's why I love the Hero Lives. It gives me one more layer to protect myself with by special summoning straight from the deck. That way they need to deal with all of those plays before I've even committed my normal summon. But anyways, game 3. Alright, game 3. Digging in here, yet again going first. We got pretty lucky in the Duelist Cup here. We were absolutely crushing it. They're going to go for Dimension Shifter though. Luckily we got that call by on deck. Shifter is a bit of a problem for this deck. There are a number of like Floodgate hand traps that do pose a bit of a problem for this deck. Ignore the green screen, I don't know why it's doing that. But basically, a couple of them do pose a bit of an issue. Specifically, like Maxi, of course, right? Duel and Dimension Shifter are all huge issues, really big problems. We're going to go in the Lightheart here. We're going to get ashed on the Lightheart, which again, you're looking at this, you're thinking, damn, that's a lot of fucking interruption. We already get hit twice with cards, but we have the Abscission. We're going to pop the Lightheart, grabbing ourselves Calarium, then we're going to use Calarium, searching our deck. We actually grab the Rheum Heart here, as per fucking usual, because it's such a good card. Abscission, then going to special summon it out from the hand. Then the Rheum Heart's going to grab ourselves Meek. Meek's going to summon to the field, going for the Arrival to bring back the Rykart from the graveyard. We're going to use this to go into another Lightheart, because we can do that. It's not once per turn. Going into the Primitive Planet now, of course. Primitive Planet going to grab ourselves a Visa Starfrost, special summon it out, popping the Meek, and it's as if nothing ever happened. We are back to normal, bringing back the Lightheart. We get 2 of those dorks on field. Going to go the Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon, using its effect, bringing back the Meek from the graveyard, going Link 2 here into our Cross Sheep. Now we're going to banish 2 from grave, summoning out the Astrolaud directly to the Cross Sheep zone, using its effect, of course, to bring back the Rheum Heart from the grave. We're going to link to now into Sprite Elf as well. Sprite Elf is not going to be used right away because we got the Bestial Dispatter being summoned out to a zone. We're going to use its effect. We're stealing his Dimension Shifter, which happens to be a level 6 Dark Monster, to use with our level 4 Light Monster to go into the Chaos Angel. We use his Dimension Shifter for it, which I thought was hilarious. Going in the Meek plus our Astrolaud goes Baron. So playing through Shifter, playing against the Ash, playing against whatever the hell you want, and we still end up on our full board with Maxi and Ash in hand, which is just incredible. The resilience of this deck, the ability that these cards give it to play through interruptions, play through hand traps, play through disruptions, is just incredible. And while there are a handful of ones that you really do need to keep an eye out for, you need to keep an eye out for Shifter and Duel and Maxi in particular. We play as many outs as we can, but again, it's not always enough. But if you do find yourself in a position where you're not playing against those cards, generally speaking, it'll be very, very difficult for your opponent to slow you down. It really will. Like a singular Ash Blossom, a singular Imperm, unless you have a pretty fucking bad hand, and even then, those cards are not going to stop you. They simply aren't. Not if you're playing it right. But anyways, let's have one last look at the deck itself. Alright, here we are. So, in terms of our flex spots, let's quickly talk about that before we even talk about anything else. We, of course, have the triple Maxi, we have the triple Ash Blossom, we have double Talent. I think double Talent is really good in this deck. I think if you have a copy of Talent, even just one, fucking play it. That draw 2 saves your fucking ass more often than I would like to admit. Card is pretty nuts. We got double Crawled by the Grave and a singular Crossout. You kind of need to play those. I would be tempted to even play Drool in the deck just as a Crossout target, but it didn't come up when I was playing, so I didn't worry too much about it. And this is the list. Bit of a bigger list than last time. If you want to go back to our deck list from yesterday, that goes over the specifics of it. This is pretty much it, though. There's not very much changed from it. There's one extra deck change where we managed to slot ourselves in a Baguska in place of, I can't remember what it was we even replaced, to be honest. Oh, the Prime Heart. So we slipped in a Baguska because Baguska is pretty fucking good. Specifically because of Maxi. Like if you're playing in the Maxi or whatever, you can set up a Baguska pretty easily. And it tides you over. It gets you through the turns. Is it great? No. Is it enough? Not always. But is it something? Yes. Sometimes something is all you have to put your money on. So that's why we're playing Baguska in this version. With the 3 level 4s. And yeah, it just works. Luckily, I haven't had to fall back on it very much. But what is the difference between this deck and the last deck? Well, we're going to talk about the difference between the Kashtira cards and the hero cards. Because I think that's... I've already covered the deck list. Did a deck list yesterday. It'll be linked above towards the end of the video. But for now, what else? What are people playing instead? People are playing Fenrir, Rafaslav, and this. That's what they're playing. Instead of the hero cards. What do these cards actually do for the deck? So you could argue that these cards make access to a light heart slightly easier because you can search your deck for the Kashtira Scareclaw. That's a valid argument. You can make that claim. And I agree that is definitely a valid thought process. However, it also sucks. Why would you do that when I have a free special summon from deck, not once per turn, with no cost other than life points, to get me instant access to Visa Starfrost, not only on field, but also in grave? To go into an Astrolabe, to go into the Lightheart, to go into all of those very same plays that you're working your ass overtime on with the Kashtira cards they get access to. It just doesn't make sense. Maybe I'm missing something, maybe there's more to it. You guys want to tell me below what I'm missing? But it just doesn't make any sense to me. A hero lives going into Prisma, sending the Visa Starfrost off of the Prisma to become Visa Starfrost, going into Lightheart. Again, I talked about the combo at the beginning. It's super straightforward. It's not like a new combo. It's just a new gateway into the plays that you were already doing. It brings so much more relevance specifically to the Scareclaw cards within the deck, and I think those Scareclaw cards are really sort of what ticks the engine going. I think the MANNADIUM cards themselves are kind of slow, but like when you combine that with the Scareclaw cards, it really ramps up super quick. So I think getting instant access to all of those cards is priority number one, right? But anyways, I'm not going to bore you with a full deck profile here on this video. If you want to get a full deck profile, you can see it up above my head at the minute, so you want to click on that to get a card for card breakdown and even more replays. Be my guest playing the Kashtira engine, might I add. But that's everything I've got to say on the list here today. If you enjoyed watching, of course, subscribe to catch more videos as they come out every single day. Like the video if you enjoyed watching it, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.